Hey, Rebecca here at Design and Adorn, and I sent out a video yesterday telling you all about the Kumihimo Mysteries Unlocked retreat that we're doing in May of 2026 at Museum of Beadwork. And there are questions. Um, I know I've been sending you emails, but sometimes you just want me to talk to the camera and tell you. So here's that. So when is it exactly? Okay, it's the first weekend in May, so that's May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of 2026. So that's when it is. And then the follow-up question that is always, okay, well, I'm traveling from out of town. When should I get there? Okay, if you live super close by, you could maybe roll in on Friday morning. We're going to start Friday at 10 o'clock in the morning. But if you are traveling from far away, like I am, I live in Tucson, I will be flying in on Thursday. So if you're just coming from the weekend and you're not going to be extending your main vacation, you're just going to be there for the retreat, I would come in on Thursday and then fly back out on Monday. So that way you're totally there completely for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You're not trying to travel on any of those days. Flights from the West Coast tend to arrive pretty late on the East Coast. So you can't really fly in on Friday. So the schedule for Friday, we're going to do our workshop from 10 to 5, and then from 5 to 8 is the first Friday art walk. So this is not technically part of the retreat, but it's very cool and it's happening and you're going to be there. So put that on your schedule. The first Friday art walk is something that is part of the art scene in Portland, Maine, and the Museum of Beadwork participates. So the museum gallery will be open extra late that evening. You're already going to be there, so you probably don't want to be there for at least a little minute. And there's a wine and cheese reception. It's super fun. I went to one last year. It was fantastic. But there are going to be open galleries all over town. So you might want to go out, grab yourself some dinner, and then check out the map and hit up some of the other art galleries and art venues that are going to be open late that evening. And then the next morning on Saturday, we're going to start early. We're going to start at 8:30 because from 8:30 to 10, we have private shopping at Caravan. So it's just us. And that's going to be an extra special chance for you to pick out your beads. Not all of the seed beads are in the showroom, right? There are so many seed bead colors. It would be impossible to have them just all in the showroom, even as big as Caravan is, that some of them are in the warehouse. So we're going to talk about that on Friday, picking out your colors, and you can have a list and they'll pull colors from the warehouse from you. So you have your choice of all the beads there, but we do have this private shopping so that you can get colors, even the ones that are in the warehouse and not on the floor. And then we're going to start our workshop that day at 10 o'clock. So we'll be going till 3:30 that day. And then on Sunday, it's 10 to 5 again. And then after we wrap the workshop for that day, we're planning on our lobster dinner tentatively 6 to 8. We haven't booked exactly where we're going yet. That's one of those things that I need a firm head count for before I can actually book it. I can't just call up a restaurant and be like, hey, do you have a party room that seats some people, and not tell them what that number of people is. So once we've finished the registration period and I've got head counts, then I can book out exactly where we're going for that. So yeah, if you're coming in from someplace that's not super close to Portland, if you're outside of driving distance, I would plan on flying in on Thursday and then flying out again on Monday, unless you're going to extend your vacation, which is my plan. Because again, I live in Tucson and that's pretty far from Maine. So since I'm going to travel all the way there, I'm going to take a few extra days afterwards to do more awesome Maine stuff. They're lighthouses. Portland itself is super cool. I'm going to be going to Acadia National Park. I went there, was it last year? Yeah, in 2024. And we were there in April. And fun fact, you should definitely do a little bit of research before visiting a national park because it was closed for winter. And I didn't know that. But I'm telling you now. But lucky you, this is going to be in May, so it will be open. It's not closed. It's technically open year round, but a bunch of the trails and roads and things are closed because it's snowy. But in May, things are going to open. So if you're going to go camping at Acadia, I don't know if any of you guys are into camping, but I did just look up the camping details because, as you know, recreation.gov, you got to book stuff really far out. So the campground you would be looking at is called Blackwoods Campground. It opens May 2nd. Reservations open December 1st. So you don't have to do it right this second, But if you want to go camping at Acadia, you're going to like put a little reminder on your phone so that you can snap up your reservation. The other 2 campgrounds there don't open until the end of May. So unless you're making a very long vacation, you can skip looking at those. And Cadillac Summit Road, which is one of like the super famous highlights of the park, it opens to vehicles on April 14th. So great, we'll be able to do that. I mean, if you're making a side trip, but you don't need a permit until May 21st. So it's kind of that sweet spot window where you can drive up, but you don't need an advance reservation. So that's that if you want to extend your vacation. Other things. Are we working on the disc or the Maridai? Whichever you normally work on. So this isn't a class we're going to like learn how to braid. It does assume that you know how to do Congo gumi, so top right down, bottom left up, or if you're on the Maridai, just up and around clockwise. You can't really even see what I'm doing with my hand to the camera, but you know how to do it. Or if you don't know how to do it on a Maridai, don't bring a Maridai, because this isn't the time to learn a new technique. This is a time for learning design. So whichever equipment you use most frequently at home, whether that's a disc or a Maridai, that's totally up to you. I will be working on a disc, and all of the examples in the book are already disc because that's what I sell my kits for. What are we making? We're making whatever you want to make, provided that thing is beaded Kumihimo, because that's what we're doing, right? It's a Kumihimo retreat. But I can't tell you yet what you're making because you haven't designed it yet. So you're going to be on Friday. We're going to go through a lot of content. We're going to learn how to make your own design, and then you're going to write a design, choose your colors, choose your beads, and then start making it. My goal is for you to make a thing. I really want you to go through the full design process of idea, sketching, doing the stringing chart, and then watching it come together as an actual finished piece of jewelry that you can hold. If you're a fast braider and you've done, you haven't done like the most like epic project ever, you might be able to do 2 things over the course of the weekend. That largely depends on the size of the bead you're working with, right? If you're doing your project in delicas, it just simply takes more time to braid than if you're doing it in, say, size 8. What are the prerequisites for the class? Great question. Like I said before, you just need to know how to braid. If you can make a beaded rope, if you can just, string up some size 8 beads and make a Kumihimo beaded rope, you're good to go. That's it in terms of technical skills. The cool thing about beaded Kumihimo is it doesn't super get like harder from there. Like you can be more complicated and more time consuming and have more layers and more parts, but like technical skills, that's it. You're good to go. Hey, what about all that math? Well, I'm going to teach you how to do all the math. And it's not crazy. You don't need like a math degree. You don't even need algebra. It's just, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and you can totally use the calculator on your phone. All right. If you have been to the retreat before, will you learn anything new? Yes, you will. It has been 5 years since I have taught one of these. I took a very, very long break. Thank you, pandemic, for that. So in all of that time, I have designed a bunch of new stuff. So in my own work, I have lots of new thoughts about the design process, some new like problem solving things that I've come up with. So yeah, there's a ton of new content, even if you have been before. And if you've been before, I've had several students that have taken my retreats multiple times, and they always say what they like about it is that they come at it from a different perspective at a different level, right? Because you're never the same exact person more than once, and you learn and you grow. So doing it again, you just learn it differently and at a different level. How do you get to Portland, Maine? First of all, whenever you are searching for information about it, make sure you always put in Portland, Maine, because if you just type Portland into a search bar, you're going to get information on Oregon. So make sure you're always searching for Portland, Maine. How should you get there? If you're not driving there, you should fly. You have a couple airport options. You can fly directly to Portland, Maine. That's obviously the closest airport. It's super close to the museum, like 10, 15 minutes away by car. I'm flying into Manchester because I'm a Southwest flyer, and Southwest Airlines flies to Manchester, New Hampshire. It's about 2 hours away. Boston Logan is where Christina, that's the museum director, that's where she flies in and out of. When she obviously lives in Portland, Maine. So whenever she's flying around the country, she flies in and out of Boston Logan Airport, also about 2 hours away. There is a bus she was telling me about. I have a link to it on the website that runs really regularly from the Boston Logan Airport to Portland. So if you don't want to get a car, you could take the bus and then just Uber around. Which brings me to, how do you get around? Well, you can rent a car or you can Uber. Uber is super prevalent, Uber, Lyft, whichever brand you prefer. Last time I rented a car, because I was there with Richard, to my mom. She just took Uber everywhere, and it was super convenient. Oh, and my friend Miranda, she came up, and she just Ubered around. So that was super, super easy. Where to stay? Portland is not the middle of nowhere. There are lots of hotels at all price points. So whichever like hotel brand chain you're loyal to, I think you'll find what you're looking for. We usually stay at somewhere in like the Hilton property. That's where we've parked all of our loyalty points, and all the usual options were there. You know, there was a Hampton Inn and a Hilton and a DoubleTree and a Home2 Suites. There's also Airbnb, actual traditional bed and breakfast, and photo book. Oh, that's the last thing on my list. I should have grabbed it before the thing. Sorry, I'll be right back. Okay, what's the deal with a photo book? So, you know how you go on vacation and every time you come back and you're like, I'm going to take all of my photos, I'm going to organize them, and I'm going to put them into a beautiful photo album, and then you don't do it? Well, I'm going to do it. So, I'll you don't need to know like the nitty gritty, but we'll have like a group photo collection, and then I'm gonna put these into a Shutterfly book. And this is one of the early registration bonuses. So registering before September 30th is how you get the awesome photo book. So I've done one of these for every retreat, and it's just a great keepsake, right? It's so nice to have all the pictures of your new Kumihimo friends and your fun memories, so that way they're not just on your phone, right? That's where photos get stuck these days. So I'm gonna make a photo book for you. That's the bonus. So that's it for the frequently asked questions that I wrote down on my scraps of paper. You can hit me up at an email, designingadorn@gmail.com, if you have any more questions. And remember that the super early bird registration, that is ending on Tuesday. That is September 30th, and that's also the deadline to get the bonus photo book, which you